I need you to deliver the goods for me, a very important shipment. Tell your boss that the taste of the goods is good, and the next order will be delivered soon. Because of this mission, the executor turned into a smuggler. What's going on? At first glance, this is a very ridiculous task. Profiteers have been laying the groundwork for a long time. And it turns out it was just to send a candy? Is this task really that simple? Let's take a look at the mission description. I didn't expect that the other party was a child. Anyway, don't go into seriously. In the plot of Tower of Fantasy, there are a lot of hints that don't go into seriously. But what if we insist on going into seriously? First of all, the origin of the mysterious child. Some people speculate that he is Brian from the shelter, because he appeared in the later part of the main plot. And the dubbing is exactly the same. Let's see the picture. You can see that Brian is wearing blue pants, and the mystery kid is wearing brown pants. In Tower of Fantasy, role reuse is a common phenomenon, but they all choose to change the color of their clothes to distinguish them. And in the rest of the plot, the protagonist did not immediately recognize Brian. All this shows that the mystery child and Brian are not the same person. Who on earth is the mystery child? Why would the profiteer say that he has a problem with him, and is inconvenient to come forward on his own? At this time, some people are whimsical. Think that the mysterious child is the grandson of the profiteer. The so-called express delivery is just delivering snacks to his grandson. It's a little farce between him and his grandson. Let's take a look at the following dialogue. He said it tastes good? And said there was a next order? Oh, ignorant outsider. The profiteer said that the mysterious child is an ignorant outsider. It's not like talking about his grandson, is it? In fact, it can be seen from these conversations. He doesn't even know what the contact looks like. What do black market businessmen do? Those who specialize in underground trade, something that is not suitable for sale on the market, will choose to circulate on the black market. Black market transactions will definitely not be normal commodities. We happen to know that there is something in circulation on the black market. That's the specific medicine of the mine. Do you still remember the specific medicine produced in the mine? The experiment body is provided by Mr. Kim. The drug is developed by the heirs of Ida. And Mr. Kim's nephew sent his men to sell it to Banjas, in order to deceive the public. This kind of special drug will not be sold openly. Then the black market is a good choice. Don't ask the origin, don't check the place. And profiteers are bound to be the ones who handle it. There are many doubts about the delivery task itself. The profiteer said that he had a problem with the newcomer. What we see is a mysterious child. What can be the problem between children and profiteers? Later, he said that the contact was an ignorant outsider. From these 2 points, we can guess. He had no idea that the contact would be a child. He thought the person who picked up the goods was an adult. That's why he told us he couldn't come out in person. To dispel our doubts. And look at the attitude of the mystery kid. Oh, you brought the goods? Let me see. Forget it, I don't talk nonsense to a small role like you. Did you bring the goods? He also said that we are small roles. When you hear it, it's slang. It's like a gangster. Mystery children are not ordinary children, but the person who is in charge of the connection. It's obviously not the first time he's done this kind of thing. For contraband. It's really a good way to find a child to transfer. Children are not easily suspected. Can also take advantage of age. Exempt from a lot of censorship. Of course, these reasons are not enough. Finally, there's a more important point. It's the equivalent exchange. In our conversation with profiteers, reveal a message all the time. Equivalent exchange. Since you want to get the information of Astrum, you have to pay the same price. If the task is to send a lollipop, is it a little too easy? Actually, lollipops are just a cover. Just like many secret boxes will have a compartment at the bottom. Secrets tend to be deeper. What we see is a lollipop. But what could it be that we don't see? That's what the mission really sent. At present, the more likely thing is the specific medicine. Because we also heard about it in the subsequent mine plot. Specific medicine sell well in Banjas. And this is the only place where we have access to the specific medicine. The plot of Fantasy Tower is easy to frighten people. But it's very reasonable to think about it. Only in this way can we echo back and forth. Let's go back to the beginning of the plot. After picking up the 3 hideouts of the heirs of Ida, we also found a clue to the black market. When we get there, sure enough, Franz is waiting here. Not only do he know that we haven't been able to find Collidor and Theo, he also know that the information given by Collidor is also false. I suspect that Franz is the real mole of the heirs of Ida. All the information he has is firsthand. In fact, the reason for this point has really been explained in the main line. Although Franz is not the mole of the heirs of Ida, but he has an informant among the heirs of Ida. While tracking the chrono switch, the informant provided us with information. Next, Franz introduced us to black market businessmen. Hilda is as naive as ever. Why didn't Uncle Collidor arrest him? How can a capitalist like Collidor be so clean? Franz broke her great image about Collidor in mind, and encouraged us to go ahead and talk. Although Hilda is the terminator of bargaining. But in the end, her mind is only a little girl. The intelligence quotient of the protagonist is affirmed again. Profiteers actually know Franz. The mystery of Franz's connections has been added to 1 again. Once again experience the charm of the thick and black philosophy in the conversation with profiteers. Profiteers didn't trust us the first time. Even through skill, he even saw through our platitudes. Self-testifying? Well, you're not Collidor's man at all. But there's no hurry. A profiteer is a businessman. He saw that we needed Astrum. So he came up with the idea of asking us to help with smuggling. But how can we be willing to do it? First, he went on a very simple task. To find the refined Banjas ore. Many people think this is a simple task. After all, other games also have this kind of errand setting. Let's first take a look at the introduction of refined Banjas ore. Yes, refined Banjas ore is a specialty of Banjas. This is supposed to be a teaching material as a weapon breakthrough. But the case was abolished in the public test. But this iron ore is not that simple. Let's take another look at Sean's work notes. Who's Sean? Sean and his companions escaped from the mine to Banjas, saved by President Collidor, and then settled in Shelter 201. The job is to help Collidor dig refined Banjas ore. Remember what the profiteers said? I have a client who wants to pick up a batch of high-quality iron ore from me, but my supplier has run into some trouble recently. Said there was something wrong with the supplier. We also know that Sean has aberrated later in the story, locked up in the warehouse. This leads to the shortage of unscrupulous businessmen. So this series of events are actually causal links. A small task. Tower of Fantasy tried to arrange the settings for it. This is also the reason why TOF plot analysis can exist. Because there are reasons to test. We can then trace the source. Find out the source of the incident. And then we found the refined Banjas ore. Profiteers are also ready to really carry out the plan. Because this mission has lowered our vigilance. It makes us think that doing things for him will be simple and humble tasks. Who would have thought that the next task would be smuggling? If there is no mission to find refined Banjas ore, then we can think that the tasks of black market dealers are mostly illegal and tricky things. But the mining ahead has paralyzed US. Let us let our guard down. The task of express delivery is not as simple as it seems. After we helped with the smuggling, profiteers can rest assured to tell us the information. At this time, we have also been on board the thief ship. If we have another purpose, he can also use it as a handle to blackmail us. He played another clever trick here. Don't just give us the information. Instead, he deliberately threw the notes with the location on the mountain. So that when we find the notes, it's the information we get ourselves, not what he told us. In this way, even if Collidor is to blame afterwards, he can also stay out of it. It's really tiring to deal with the sly fox. The notes here are actually a score. Interested friends can search for related videos. It's a little colored egg in Tower of Fantasy. Find the notes and know that Astrum has given it to Collidor. We can only go to the abandoned signal station again. The enemies here are called replicators. Obviously, the enemy here belongs to Collidor. They guarded the entrance to the lab for Collidor. And there's one amazing thing. I can't believe I couldn't find an introduction to replicators in the monster map of the game. Their leader is also called the Replicator of Violet Walk. The message of the last replicator was Lyra and 14th. The origin of the replicators is also a mystery. At present, we can only guess that they belong to Collidor's personal guard. And it's the power behind the scenes. Up close, you can see that most of their bodies are made up of machines. Including the head is also completely mechanical. It should be the advanced individual of the guard robot. Collidor's research technology on robotic human body. Probably more advanced than Hycro's. After all, he has been studying how to change his son's body. The replicators is probably the accompanying product of these experiments. After entering the base, we can use some tricks to decrypt it. Tower of Fantasy has the feeling of Zelda in some places. The decryption method is not the only one. Only what you can't think of. There's no TOF that can't do it. After a while of exploration, finally came to Collidor's lab. At this time, Theo was locked in a jar. Outside is Collidor anxiously waiting for the results of the experiment. Collidor admitted that Theo has only half a year to live. No wonder he is in such a hurry. Just then the alarm went off. The energy exceeds the critical value. Theo rushed out of the experimental module, lost his mind, and knocked Collidor to the ground. Now it's time for us to clean up the mess. I have to say, Theo's mecha state is still quite handsome. The attack methods designed for him are pretty cool. It's a pity that this kind of enemy only appeared once. He could have been put into Instance Dungeon. In the 800th round of our fight with Theo. Under plot control we can't beat Theo. When we were about to be defeated. Zeke come. He is worthy of a man who even has praised the descendants of God. Theo was solved with one move. Judging from the follow-up plot, he didn't kill Theo. Zeke chose to show mercy after all. I guess the purpose is to deceive Frigg, who is also here. To prevent her from using Theo to threaten Collidor next time. When we catch up. Found that Frigg was persuading Zeke. Xiaofeng has said in the previous issue. At this time, Zeke had not made up his mind to transform Shirali. But after the Theo incident, let Zeke know that there is no way out. Only then did he agree to the sage's experiment. At this time, notice that we are holding Astrum in our hands. Frigg was about to do it. Only to be stopped by Zeke. Number 2, take me to him. There is actually an illusion in the plot. That the heirs of Ida will stop us from shutting down the Omnium Tower. Now, you remember it. Did the heirs of Ida really stop us from closing the Omnium Tower? In the Omnium Tower of Astra. After a fight, it was closed. At the Omnium Tower of Banjas. It was closed after Shelter was recharged. In the Omnium Tower of Nivea. Aegis dragged us into the training space of Angle of Clemency. And left after a fight. In the Omnium Tower of the Mine. What's more, let the protagonist take all the labs in Zone 4. In the Omnium Tower of Warren. Because we invaded Aida's heir's stronghold. We got attacked. Then Frigg retreated directly with Seal. We thought shutting down the tower will be blocked by layers of obstacles. But it's actually just the opposite. The heirs of Ida seems to be fighting us all the time. In fact, they always give way. This is just as we guessed before. Archon Elric made the right bet when he sent us on this mission. Sure enough, we are the best person to close the Omnium Tower. At the same time, we may have something to do with the heirs of Ida. Frigg brought Zeke to Banjas just to convince him. Let Shirali accept the transformation. She don't care much about Astrum. Ignored us in Astrum. Frigg left with Zeke. After that, we never encountered any obstruction from the heirs of Ida. I talked to Collidor and learned that I was going to Shelter 201 to find Sean. Sure enough, all the old foxes have a hind hand. When we get out of the lab, Franz is already waiting here. How did he know we were here? After we knew the location, we didn't tell Franz, but rushed to the lab in the first time. The reason Franz can know, or location and tracking, or I heard it from a profiteer. I even doubt whether the conversation of the profiteers may be arranged by him, too. The purpose is still to test us. But there's no evidence here. Let's just say that's the story. See us come out alive. First he asked us what was going on inside, and then asked us the whereabouts of Astrum. We told Jim Collidor's information. Learned from him that 201 is the 201 shelter. Speaking of 201 shelter, there is such a sentence in Bai Ling's voice. Franz will keep staring at me. It can be seen that Franz knows Bai Ling. Bai Ling is an orphan, raised by the leader of the shelter from an early age. After the leader died unexpectedly, Bai Ling became the new leader. But it can be seen from the use of bows and arrows. Her character is a little weak. This is also reflected in dealing with people and things, especially when the companions have been aberrated. Instead of choosing to deal with it, and put the aberrated man in the warehouse. If you can't see it, does it mean it didn't happen? This kind of treatment is not as good as Astra's asking relatives to send the last ride. Of course. Why is Franz staring at her? There's a reason. Look the picture below. Now it is clear to everyone. This style of dressing is really eye-catching. Franz told the news that Shelter 201 had been missing for several days. I strongly suggest that Franz might as well change his name to Know It All. He really know all the news. Pay attention to the last message here. Theo's departure was a tragedy. The description here is that Theo is dead. But we later learned that Theo is not dead. So this kind of information should be the inner portrayal of the protagonist. At the moment, we think Theo is dead. Next, we're leaving for Shelter 201. What is the reason for the aberration of Sean in 201? What kind of plot is there behind it? The timeline of Tower of Fantasy is about to usher in the most chaotic moment. Bai Ling is waiting for awakening. That's all for this issue. Follow Xiaofeng. Take you to experience a different Tower of Fantasy.